Hello, and welcome to your Teledoctor Show. My name is Professor Wilbrod, and today we have got an important discussion, and you are all welcome, and then you are going to contribute through phones. And we are discussing something to do with this week, and it's called Financial Literacy Week. And I've got guests in the studio that are going to help us understand what is this Financial Literacy Week about, and what should you think about, and where is it commemorated? Just in Zambia, a global thing. So stay tuned, and then after the break, we'll come back to this discussion, and I'll introduce my guests for today. For now, let's go straight into the first topic. I like to tell you that your wealth is linked to your health, and your health is linked to your wealth. Let's listen in. Hello, once more, welcome to our Teledoctor Show. This is a segment where we talk about your wealth and how that is linked to your health. Most people are complaining that business is hard, but others are making money. So I've invited Mafipe today again. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
What are the good investments that people can consider given the atmosphere where we are? Do we have examples of thriving business even under load shedding, even under these harsh economic conditions?
I'm seeing a number of really good business opportunities. The first of those is this. People who have got a lot of debt and they've seen a slowdown in sales, etc., are selling off assets. So a lot of property is being sold off right now. If you open the newspapers, banks are repossessing properties and selling those off.
Yeah.
I consider those to be very good investments long term because the price of land in and around the major cities will just increase and increase over time. So there's a one-time opportunity to start loading up on assets now.
Yeah.
Don't, if you can, avoid borrowing for them because you're creating a liability and you may not have
the money to pay
from there.
Yeah.
But if you can raise money and buy assets now, this is a good time. The second one is on professional services or services of any kind. I often find you go to a shop. If you walk into a shop in more advanced economies, the moment you walk into the shop, the person in the shop recognizes you as an opportunity to earn money. They'll approach you and ask you what you're looking for
and
they can help you. We're still at the point where people are sitting and they'll watch the customer in the shop and not offer them a solution. Until you see that, then we've not really exhausted our opportunities. There are many.
Yeah.
There are many, many opportunities. Professional services, I still encounter so many where you give a person work and they won't start it until you chase after them to start it.
Yeah.
They won't finish the work until you are calling them constantly. Whether it's a welder, whether it's a carpenter, we still have that problem. If someone is able to resolve that, there are many opportunities that are there.
Excellent. So what are you telling somebody listening to us now? Because they are so discouraged. They don't have electricity. They can't sell. Everything is like can't. What is your message?
I think I've got two responses to that. I've never heard people here say, things are wonderful for me right now. So even when there was power, they were not happy. Now there's no power. They're not
It's the
happy.
same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But the other one is this. In adversity, there is opportunity.
Yeah. So look for that.
If everything was just moving smoothly, you might not even have the opportunity.
Yeah.
That opportunity is there now.
Excellent. All right, so welcome back. So we are discussing this Financial Literacy Week. So let me just introduce you our first guest in our studio. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I just want you to tell us, Kalumba, who you are and what you do for your living.
Okay, I'm Kalumba Msonda. I am currently the marketing manager at One Life Assurance, the best in health and life insurance company in Zambia. So I'm in charge of brand, everything that you see visibility-wise with the company, as well as events and commemorating things like Financial Literacy Week.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So, Kalumba, I wanted you to tell people what this week is about, like what this financial literacy, because people are like busy looking for meal, and then you are saying this. So what is this about?
Well, I mean, we are all looking for money, yeah? So we didn't just start looking for money now. Some of us have been employed for a long time, but I think even with before Mafipe's discussion regarding investments, we all have different understanding of money according to different stages of our lives. So financial literacy is a week, basically. It's actually a global money week. That is the full umbrella that this week exists under. But in Zambia, it is Zambia Financial Literacy Week. So it's about bridging the gap in knowledge when it comes to handling finances from a very young age. So it's not just for my age group, senior youths. it's actually primarily targeted to the real youths, the children, primary, secondary schools, universities. So we're actually reaching out as financial institutions. We're spearheading this and are reaching out to across the country to educate our children so that the knowledge gap is not bridged when we're older and we've made those mistakes, but you grow up with the financial knowledge on how to manage your investments, how to save, how to earn where you can earn, multiple investments, everything. So it's widespread and it really gives, empowers the youth when it comes to financial knowledge.
Excellent. So what is the theme for this year?
Well, this year is a very interesting theme and very fitting because we are in 2025, digital age.
It's like the years are finishing.
Yeah, we are running out of time, actually.
Awesome.
So this year's theme is Think Before You Follow, Safeguard Your Money, which is all about financial knowledge when it comes to scams that can exist, digital fraud and everything. We live in a completely digital world.
Yeah.
So, and that has also really brought about, it made the problem a little bit worse. It's so much easier to run a scam today in 2025 than it was 15, 20 years ago because it was so expensive. But now you kind of set up a Facebook page, you set up a WhatsApp group, and you can reach thousands, even millions. And so, I mean, it's a business for others, but it's still a scam.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what this year's theme is. Think before you follow, safeguard your money. We're in the edge of finfluencers, that's an actual term.
Yeah.
Financial influencers, and even friendships and social groups are also influential into how we behave when it comes to our money into these investment groups. So this theme is kind of telling you, do your research, do your learning before you're trying to, you get to earn and save and do all those things. But think before you follow to safeguard your money.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. So the insurance companies are so concerned about this matter. Why?
Well,
of safeguarding money.
Safeguarding money is really not just about saving. It's also a lot about, investing, right? Yeah. So for us, a lot of, when it comes to insurance, a lot of it is looked at it like, oh, insurance is an expense and, you don't want to invest it. It's not a wise investment to some, which is a total myth. I mean, I may be biased, but it's not it's a total myth. So if you're saving diligently, for example, I've been saving maybe for 2-3 years. What do we essentially save for? I think most of the time for us, we save for the positive events, right? Or it's even called a rainy day fund. Yeah. Yeah. I'm saving for a rainy day. So I've maybe been saving for 2-3 years. And I want to go on a vacation or I want to invest in some property. But in that 2-3 years, maybe I've saved up 100,000 to 150. And I happen to unfortunately end up in a car accident or there's a funeral. That could essentially wipe away the savings that I've made, which were bound for an investment, or even sometimes for education. You are saving up maybe for university for your child, but you end up in an unfortunate event. So with insurance, you won't lose this saving. So you've actually safeguarded your money by way of a safety net which insurance provides. So that's why it's a real concern for us. For us, it's more than just saving, it's actually protecting your money, protecting your future investments, protecting your current investments. Yeah.
Excellent. So, but there are also concerns now that you can be protecting your money, saving it, but some good guys somewhere in Nigeria might just step on it and empty your account. So how does one protect themselves from such scams? And is there a role for insurance in that area?
Well, I mean, essentially, a lot of it is really up to us in terms of protecting yourself. You can get your after protection, which we'll get into. But one of the most, like for example, let's take one of the most common scams today, fake investments. Yeah. Promising unrealistic returns, get rich quick. And there are some fraudulent so-called insurance companies that will put out, again, you created a WhatsApp group and you have this great thing and contribute this much, and then if you have a funeral, but there's really no real backing institutionally for that. Yeah. And sometimes it even comes in the form of some of our village banking groups. It starts like that, and that's what you guys are all saving for. If in case somebody has, then your treasurer just runs away, does a Houdini on you. So the best thing you can always do is emphasize on the organizations that you're dealing with or the institutions you're dealing with. They need to be in a we are in a regulated industry if you are looking at financial institutions. So you have to, number one, for us, PIA, the Pensions and Insurance Authority, is where we are vested.
Yeah.
So you need to be registered there, just like other financial institutions. You're getting your loans and or whatever investments you're making, they will be registered with Bank of Zambia. So you need to know that the institution you're dealing with is reputable by way of
how do you check for that? Do you go to the website? Like, how do you know?
Digital age we live in,
Yes,
everything's right at your fingertips, and you could actually call these institutions as well.
So which one do you want to recommend for one person? Like, which one can I call to make sure that people who are keeping money or are asking for money from us are legitimate? Are there one?
Banking and anything like that, that's savings invested, you definitely go to Bank of Zambia.
Yeah.
For insurance, mutual funds, you definitely go to PIA.
You check there.
Yes, and you can report any fraudulent ones with these two regulators as well.
So apart from calling those people that regulate, are there ways, like when you come on Facebook or other places, where you can know that, is this suspicious? Should I ask before you jump in?
Yeah.
And what could be your steps for validation? Because you really need to do your homework.
No, you really do need to do your homework, because at the end of the day, a lot of investments we make, we are excited to make money. And it's that excitement that should also make us cautious. So when you're researching about investment, you need to, again, verify. You need to make sure that this information is legit. So if you do your research online, don't just take it by word of mouth from somebody who said I think I've seen the very famous one, the screenshot of the bank account being credited, and you get excited and say, that will be me too. So in essence, you want to be able to educate yourself and verify before you trust this information that you found. There are many ways to verify other than believing the screenshot and saying, I saw this money. Unless they give you at least half of that money, I wouldn't believe it's there. And protect what matters. So even when you are saying, you need to have that. If something does go wrong, have I invested everything I own into this business? Because we all want to become millionaires overnight. So you need to protect what matters, which is your investment. So verification of these things, educating yourself on probable schemes and scams is so important. Clicking links to win iPhones. You need to check. You can go to Google and say, is it okay for me to click this link? And it will give you some advice. Now we use ChatGPT a lot. You can actually ask ChatGPT, can I click this link? And ChatGPT will tell you, that's not a wise financial decision, even though you want to win an iPhone. There's so many ways you could verify information now, even without calling BOZ, without calling PIA, before you even get to that. You can.
But are there flashness? Are there indication, like people can look for, like some of the things that the tendency to, like, say, put the money now, or something like that? Could you say 2 or 3 things that people should really look for when you go there?
There's a long list. Number one, I think a lot of it is fast investment. As you said, hurry up and invest before you lose your chance. And huge returns that don't really align with the investment. For example, if somebody tells me, if you'll pay 3,000 kwacha and then in 2 months we'll be paying you, or every month we'll be paying you 30,000. The math needs to correlate and say, then of course there's the one, bring in members. And I think that's a very last year and the year before last, we've had a lot of this, the Ponzi schemes and the pyramid schemes coming apart, and also because of the digital age, because now when somebody is unhappy, they just go and post on their Facebook, I was dealing with A, B, C, D, and that's another way of you being able to research which pyramid schemes are actually in circulation. So the quick returns in a very short period of time. Don't lose your opportunity. It always has this great language, and then always, again, the flashiness and saying you're going to earn this million, and I just bought myself a G-Wagon. And the person there, you're like, does my boss even have a G-Wagon? But this person has bought themselves a G-Wagon. So there are a lot of telltale signs, but I think a lot of it is psychological in terms of how, as humans beings, we have needs that we want to meet, and we do want to get rich. We do want to make money. But we need to be cautious and put, those things aside and actually do our research. So just take time to research your investments. Slow and gradual investments are what bring, building, a true financial wealth. Excellent. And not overnight wealth. No, we don't recommend that.
What about the phone scams? Do people, like, they call you or just press? In fact, somebody was like, I was sleeping, they called me, can you press now? And then you have won something and it's in their heart. I said, but it's too much, too quick. Can I think a bit?
And then that takes advantage of the person's psychology, because immediately you don't even realize it. I think I've I've heard of this, even just at work, a few times I've heard of this. Oh, my friend went through this. They'll call you. We have safe, encrypted platforms, like WhatsApp, but it also has been hacked, because they'll send you the little code and you press that link and you basically transferred your ownership of your WhatsApp. Then from there, it goes haywire. They're messaging your friends, and you trust your friends. So they will message using my number and say, please lend me ABCD, send to this Airtel money number or this other number. My mobile money number is not working right now. And because you're working quickly, they have to move fast. Because if you think about it, think before you follow.
I think that's the theme for this year.
Think before you follow. If you think about it and actually analyze things, most of the time you won't. But because there's that trust, there's the hurriedness, there's the pressure, as you're saying, calling me randomly at midnight and I'll panic. You usually find most people that fall to it, it's the lack of thought before they
do, yes. So how many counts should people do before they react?
I would say give it 10 solid minutes before you just look at what's happening. I think a lot of these SMSs that will come that will say, it's MTN telling you received money. I think a lot of us know about it now.
Even some small amount of money enters, like a 20 kwacha.
And then, please send it back, but they now get access. We are being hacked left, right, and center. So a lot of times we have to, and the digital age is so great. It gives everybody opportunities for growth, even the scammers.
The scammers have got opportunities. So they're just using
their knowledge and energy for the negative side. But there's so much that you can do. So you need to protect yourself in so many things. There's so many technological ways to, even with your banking, there's two-factor authentication, there's strong passwords, not sharing passwords. I think we're being constantly educated, even with financial institutions, about protecting your passwords. Don't share your PINs. Don't, share
even
passwords.
With your wife.
No, especially with your wife and your husband.
We shouldn't share. Oh my God.
Try and keep separate PINs. I mean, be aware. But yes, I'm not really privy on how those things work. But essentially, don't share your PIN.
Okay.
Maybe break hearts, not passwords.
All right. So we are discussing this week's theme. We are looking at financial literacy this week and looking at how you need to actually wait and don't just follow things. And because just following, I think I've heard of stories where like people come out of the house, they see people running on the street, they also start running, and then at the end they ask them, what were you running after? No, I saw people running, then I was running. That's how you can lose your money. So in financial things, make sure that you are aware and you take precautions, because once you lose your money, it could be your only pension money, it could be your only salary, it could be your own savings. So why don't we take some minutes to ask, research, and sometimes we are very lazy with things that we have worked very hard with. So let's take a break. On the other side, I want to hear, is there any protection? Can the insurance company do something to help you? Because some people have been scammed. We're talking about prevention. But if it has happened to you, what do you do? Okay, see you on the other side.
Mbuya, are you okay? Thankfully, with the TeleDoctor app, you can get premium healthcare from the comfort of your home. With the TeleDoctor app, all it takes is a click, and you could not only have a nurse or doctor come and see you, you can also receive specialized services such as nursing and physiotherapy.
You see, TeleDoctor aims to make access to healthcare services cheaper, faster, and convenient.
Did you know that 46% of the deaths that we record in Zambia are as a result of inadequate access to healthcare services? Seeing that was a gap, TeleDoctor was birthed because it was working in line with what the Ministry of Health wants, which is providing effective and quality healthcare as close to the family as possible. We want to bridge the gap by telling you to get your smartphone and just download the app. Once you download the app, you can actually book for an appointment with a doctor or any licensed medical personnel. Do you also need a refill with your prescription? Quite all right, we do that and deliver the drugs from the comfort of your own home at your doorstep. So you can download the app or visit our website for more information.
All right, so welcome back. And again, we are joined in the studio as we go into the second part with Mafipe Chunga, who has been on our show for Health and Wealth Talk. And I just want to welcome him back. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Just remind the viewers who you are.
Sure. I'm a chartered accountant. I qualified my degree 20 years ago.
Okay. You are growing old.
I think I'm revealing how old I really am.
Yes, yes.
So for 16 years, I worked in a large accounting practice, an international practice.
Yes.
I was also a corporate banker. I've worked in family businesses, and now I'm an advisor to small businesses and individuals.
Okay. So, Mafipe, there's, the discussion today is financial literacy. Okay, and Kalumba has been very helpful to us when we started. So now that you have joined us, this week is just to commemorate, and we want to talk about making informed financial decisions and protecting our money. So not just to follow the line, people just following whatever people are doing. So you've been in this financial sector, and there have been scams and people losing money. What are some of the things that have broken your heart?
Okay, I mean, when people have put their last money, their savings, and they've committed everything they have into what they believe is a good business venture, only to be duped. But there are indicators of these things as well.
Yeah.
I think when you look at investment, there's always risk and reward. You'll find if somebody's investing, let's say in a property, the risks are lower, but the reward is equally lower. So on the low end, you'd have something like a property. On the very high end, maybe you'd have something like cryptocurrency or FX trading. So as an investor, you want to be in a space where you've got visibility and control over the investment, or at least the ability to ask questions about it.
Okay, excellent. So now we wanted just to talk about some of these fake schemes, okay? Some of the fake schemes. I don't know, there are some things called fake funeral cover.
Fake funeral cover schemes, fake health cures.
Okay, so maybe want to comment, have you seen this happening, and is there a way that we can let people know, like, the telltale signs for this? We don't want people to lose money.
and worse, even lose their life. I think for us as a health and life insurance company, there's always the notion that insurance is just an expense and not an investment, right? So no one really plans to get sick, no one plans to have an accident,
no.
But you create a safety net to be able to protect you if and when it does happen. We know we are not making out of here alive, unless there's a special contract I'm not privy to, but we all know the end game is that. But we all leave family behind, so you leave insurance as a protective safety net for your family. So it's not necessarily that it's an expense that you'll never use. It's literally there to protect your future, and your future could be your children. But there's other things. In place of health insurance, you might say, I don't get sick that often, or I never get sick. And if I do, I'll just go to my herbalist. They'll give me a little portion, and then I'll be cured. But sometimes we delay a lot of medical intervention in the name of some of these cures. And I was surprised to see the cost of some of these. I think I've never been myself, I don't have the experience, but I think I heard somebody pay $15,000 to be cured from cancer. And they weren't cured. But
they lost their money.
They lost the money. And they were drinking a lot of different concoctions that really did not end well. So they delayed medical intervention and essentially now worsened the situation. It was cancer, but it was still very early stage. They did get the treatment that they needed, but they had wasted that money and now needed to look for more money to help them. So we look at some of these things and say, look, you were trying to avoid the expense of insurance, but now you've dug yourself in a deeper hole.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to have the insurance when you are in that situation. All you have to do is go see a doctor, tell a doctor, have your consult through One Life. and you've been paying your premiums for a long time, and you have access to a wide network of healthcare practitioners. So we need to start looking at some of these like that. We do want a quick fix. Even when it comes to weight loss, people go the very extreme route. No, I'm going to do ABCD. I got this fat diet. I paid $30 for it. Yeah, most of the time that doesn't work. And you'll find by your lifetime, you've done that maybe 20 times. So you've spent thousands of dollars trying to get this. But when the healthy way is through proper diet, exercise, it's actually, there's a lot of, it's a free way, but we try and find the quicker route. So some of these end up making you lose money.
More than you could have, yeah, definitely.
That's even a cheap one. When I say $30, there are $1,000 programs to help you lose weight, 30 kilos in 6 days. And you actually fall for it and say, but that could kill you, but you won't think about that.
Excellent. So Mafipe, there's something we call in health economics catastrophic health expenditure. I'll repeat that. Catastrophic health expenditure. So in your practice, have you come across people that didn't do the insurance she's talking about, and they went in now to start selling their houses and now getting mortgages? What has been your experience, and what's your advice? Because I think that's where we're discussing that there are some safety nets you can have here.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the work I do is with companies that are struggling financially.
Yes.
They may be overextended financially, they've borrowed, the bank is looking to foreclose, and they don't have a way forward. One of the key triggers actually is healthcare. At that point when they need to pay a significant bill for medical bills, that's when they start selling off things. It can trigger an absolute crisis, and it's very common. At that point, you're emotional. You're emotionally driven. That is your mother who's ill in hospital.
Yes.
You will dispose of anything required to help. So insurance is definitely a good investment in that kind of situation.
You want to emphasize this
Been
point.
endorsed by the financial guru. I mean, do I need to say
Excellent,
more?
excellent. All right, then there are other ones like people, they're making small groups, these ones, maybe women's group, women's savings, and some of them have ended up running away with the money for the people who have contributed. So what is your comment? Maybe we start with the ladies first.
Unfortunately, the women seem to be very prone to this one. I'm getting concerned because the numbers, it's not just the victims, it's the perpetrators. I think women here, I don't know what has happened, but that is happening quite a bit. And I think it's the trust aspect.
Yeah.
So working on emotions is very key when it comes to scamming.
Yeah.
So the women have been more trusted, especially when it comes to investment. We're supposed to be more financially responsible.
Yes.
I know we shop a lot, but essentially we still take care of
our families. Yes.
So I think this one is it's a very sore point socially, especially because the biggest way is the trust that I will have between me and my friend to be convinced to join whatever the investment club is. They may not even have seen the rewards, but they'll also give me the same pitch and the same sale, and it'll be much easier because of the trust element that we have. And it goes on. It doesn't fall apart in 10 minutes or even a year. Sometimes it goes on for years until, as a pyramid, it must always crash. So some of these are become quite rampant. And I think when they started blowing up, I think a couple of years ago, when now everybody was kind of talking about it, and people started now pulling out their investments quite a bit and saying, now I don't trust this, but they've been putting in money, and some are legit. They actually have, they work properly and they are legitimate, but they've also fallen prey to people now wanting to pull their investments because of the rampant amount of scams that have been. And yes, people have run away with people's money. And again, if you research them, just, Facebook, Instagram, go search them. People have written about them, so before you go and invest, because now they've moved to another country.
You Google it, yeah.
Yes, just Google them. And you can Google the name Kalumba Msonda Scammer. You can
try that.
No, legit, try it. I don't think I'm on that list.
Okay,
I
good.
hope.
Yeah.
But yes, you'll be able to get that information as well.
So, Mafipe, so there was, I think maybe you heard this story. There were some people who were telling others that they provide roofing sheets here in Zambia. And many people were building houses, put money in there to buy roofing sheets. And these people are non-existent. What is your advice? And men, like they know you have explained to your wife, you have gone to the bank confident, and the roofing sheets are looking. I don't know the name of I think it's very recent. I think last year, towards the end of last year, and the guys just disappeared with people's money, a lot of money.
Wow. Let me speak to two things. I'll speak to the roofing sheet issue and also the village bank.
Okay.
I think with the village bank, a key indicator is how do the people interconnect with each other. At the core of a village bank, and they call it a village bank because people were living in a community together. Many of the savings groups that people have unrelated, unconnected people, and somebody can disappear quite easily.
Yeah, because you don't know them. They're not in the network.
There's somebody who knows somebody else, but they don't have a common thread between them. In the ones that have worked, because I've been a member of one of these for 5 years and I was formerly a chairman, in the one that worked, everybody was closely interconnected. They knew each other. Somebody could reach out to them if they didn't do what they were supposed to. And there was also a level of transparency where they would have to prove that they've actually made the payment. So that's another element. In the case of the roofing sheet company, okay, that can happen. But what I would look at as well would be things like, could you go to the factory where these roofing sheets are coming from? Could you actually see them being dispatched? How long have they been in business? Do they have a trading license? All of those are indicators. If something is too good to be true, it probably
is not true. Okay, good. What about like even for some of the lands? People have been going like to buy land several times. So you and me meet at the same land, and you have bought, I've got a license, and then we are fighting. And people have lost money. That could be their last drop.
Yep. I think a really good piece of advice, consult on land issues.
Yeah.
Engage a lawyer, transact through.
It's expensive to pay a lawyer beforehand. Is there another way?
It's more expensive to lose out on the land.
Definitely.
That's the most expensive bit, is that you lose out. At least the lawyer will have a record of the transactions that took place, the structure, who paid the taxes. So 10 years down the line, you'd be able to retrace the steps that went through.
Yeah.
And you can work out who sold first, who bought first.
Yeah,
at least there's a history to the transaction. When it's done over a handshake, it's a problematic affair.
Okay, people want to do it quick. Okay, good. Now, some people lose money in the process.
Yes.
Either they put it in the medication or in the group, or some people scam them. Can the insurance company help in any way? That I have lost money. Can I get insurance cover for some of this?
For unintelligent decisions, I'm not too sure. So I think there's a lot of insurance that does cover money and your investment. For example, when it comes to loans and mortgages that you've taken up, vehicle asset finance, number one, it must be a legit, you've borrowed from a legit financial institution. So all your loans should essentially be insured through a credit life assurance. Like, for example, One Life does offer that. So in the case of your death, or you are declared redundant, or you have disability, you have permanent disability, you can no longer work, you have been, you are essentially unable to service your loan or pay off your debt.
Even when you are disabled.
Yes. Your insurance or critical illness, disability.
But why don't people ask for this? Why are the people not doing this?
I mean, most of the people are dealing with unscrupulous financial institutions. But you're legit, as we said, Bank of Zambia registered, and in regulated entities do have a credit life insurance policy on their cover. I think the main thing is the knowledge gap again. It's not really, I think they do tell people when you're getting a loan that will be paid for insurance, but they don't tell you that it actually covers you in those instances. So that knowledge, and I think sometimes it's that read the fine print moment, but it does exist.
So is it like coming automatically, or you have to buy it actively? Like when you get a loan, what is the trend here in Zambia?
So it is part of your loan. So for example, if you've gotten a loan under a reputable financial institution of 50,000, there's a portion of it that is insurance, and you do know about it. So even if you read through I know we're excited about the money hitting our accounts, but if you get 50,000, you will not receive the full 50,000 because of the setup fees, and one of the lines, the cost lines, is insurance. So you are covered when it comes to, it may not have all the riders, but that's why you should ask that you
what am I covered for?
That wants all the riders. So essentially some of them will just cover you for death. But there are other riders. For example, with One Life, you can get critical illness, disability. Some also want redundancy. If you are declared redundant, your loan could be covered. And I think that's a big worry, especially currently with we know everything that's going on currently. So you want some sort of protection. Even, I think, when you take out loans, even when you make such investments, you're trying to provide and create wealth as well. So you still need to, you may still get rich, and you may still create a lot. You build your house, you get a nice car, you invest that money, but you also need to protect it in case
something happens.
Does happen.
So we have got many people, Mafipe, that have lost jobs from USID, and some of them got loans, some of them now they are foreclosure and what. So what's your advice here, and where would the insurance, we're in this financial, we don't want anyone to lose any money. We want to be sure. What's your advice? Because people are sometimes like, they have gone into depression, they have gone into many panic modes, and some people are, so what is your advice now?
Having grown up in Lusaka in the 90s, we saw this when a number of parastatals started to close. People who had good jobs, promising careers were cut short. Now, for the people who have been let go suddenly, perhaps it's too late for insurance, but it's very relevant in terms of their next opportunity, getting that kind of insurance cover in place, particularly against redundancy. But what I would say to them is that now is the time to restructure your finances. The mistake a lot of people make is they only start making changes to their spending habits at the point when the funds are finished. You need to make that adjustment now. If it's that extra car, dispose of it, pay up bills in advance, engage your bank manager proactively, listen to them, work out a solution now. They can reach out to us through Teledoctor. We've got an entire series and a training around this that we're rolling out.
Excellent. So, Kalumba, because I have got friends that have lost jobs now, so I'm very emotional about this matter actually. We are discussing it on that platform tomorrow. But can people look through their insurance now and the loans that they got to check if they were covered in their loans? Because now that's the big thing, like we are paying 20,000, 40 per month. Can they go back and check their conditions? Because some of them are just now in panic mode when there could be a sentence hidden somewhere. So how do they go about to finding out this?
Again, I hope everyone's dealing with reputable financial institutions here, but you can go back to your financial provider and just make sure that your credit life does cover this. I think in your contracts, it should be able to stipulate exactly what your insurance covers. So you can go back to your document, you go back to your policy. If it's through your bank, there is an underwriting insurance company. You can talk to your banker, talk to your financial person, and they will be able to advise what cover is on you.
I think we need to talk about this in detail, because I think it will help many people that might be in distress. Maybe there's a sentence that just says that
the
if you are in,
are going to be very busy.
So that's, I think, part of this insurance week, the financial literacy kind of thing we are raising. All right, so you mentioned that we are talking about young people. And young people as the future for the country.
Yes.
And you want to start that financial literacy at that age.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
I think it's more of a mindset change.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to put in new ideas. You can't teach an old broom how to sweep.
Okay.
Or a new dog, new tricks.
Yeah.
So it's so much easier. We're seeing this gap that exists. I mean, we look at, I think the numbers when it comes to insurance penetration, for example, in Zambia, are so low.
Yeah.
I think now we're maybe getting to about 8%. Don't quote me. I think the last numbers I ever looked at were about 6.7. So I know there's a lot of work being done by financial institutions to grow that number, but it is too low. But that's also because it's now, and over the last, I think, for example, insurance associations of Zambia and PIA have started this Insurance Week, for example, has been in existence. This is now going to be year 12. It's been 12 years of this work, and we are telling everyone. Because, for example, if I grew up, even in school, if I grew up being taught about the importance of insurance, it won't be something that Kalumba's son in future will have to come and convince me about. I will know the value for different things, not just my electronics, because at some point my parents are going to buy me an iPhone, or I'll buy my son. My son literally does say, "Mom, have you put it on insurance when we get a new device?" Because he grows up around it. So I doubt that I'll ever worry about him in future not having insurance cover on his car or in his medical, because he gets to experience having insurance. So if you have that done from a young age, you take that figure from the current 6%, and within the next 20 years, as old as Mafipe's degree, it will be a whole different ball game. We'll be looking at being as advanced in the insurance game as a country like South Africa, and they are African counterparts. So how are they able to trade? So we are trying to advance that from a young age, and there's different understanding of finances as you go through different stages in your life. We have different needs and different solutions for those needs according to those stages of life. So we start at a young age. Education cover. I wish my parents knew about education cover, because they paid a lot of school fees. But if they got invested in an education policy, they wouldn't have had to pay out of pocket for the brilliant education.
There was something called Meridium. I think that's what destroyed everything.
Yes, and the confidence did
go down. But I think it's still, now people are benefiting. It's not always running away from those odd risks.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset change, and it's easier for them to grow up with the positive knowledge of finances or financial solutions than, it's only later that you start to see the positivity. And we always say this about insurance: when you need it, you won't have it, and then when you want it, it's too late. So you need to be able, just have it. It's better to have and not need it. And when you need it, it's a disaster. So now, Mafipe, you see, like for cars, literally, very few people that are driving today don't have insurance. It could be coming from the village or something has just finished. When the police come, as you are going to insure, they arrest you, and they know the days when it finishes. Anyways, and so all the cars, useless things that can perish and you can replace, are all insured. But why are human beings not insured? Do you have any answer for me?
I think I do. I think it's perception, education, history. You're the most valuable asset you have.
Yeah.
And it does.
The individual there.
You, the individual, are the most valuable asset. I think one thing that's going around now is there's a social media perception of what wealth and success are. And I think we kind of need to change that. The projection is that if you're spending lots of money, you are therefore wealthy and you're successful. But we need to encourage young people to have a buffer around them. And I think wealth gives you decency, because you don't have to panic, you don't have to sell off things at the drop of a hat when you have a serious problem. And insurance is a key part of that, because before you take money out of your pocket, you've got that buffer of the insurance to protect you. It comes at a second layer. So that covers health, it covers all sorts, your assets, as you said.
Good. So, but what about retirement? People are retiring, they're losing salaries. Is there any product for them that they can look for through insurance and this financial week to think about? In case some people will be retiring very soon. Any products that they can look to?
There are so many products, and I think this is what, even for me, I'm still learning about the amount of insurance products that are available for retirement. I think we're constantly relying on the one government institution for after we retire, or is it death?
Yeah.
But there's so much more you can do to layer your wealth. And I think sometimes if you look and see, there's actually $1 million policy that I can guarantee majority people can afford. I'm not going to mention the institution that offers it because they're not here. So maybe you can invite them to speak more about it. But it does exist. You could create wealth for your future generations. I think even with insurance, like with One Life and others in our space, in the retail space, I think most of it, looking at most people's perception, is insurance also for corporates. Yeah. Corporate groups, that's how you get insurance.
Buy for the people, yes.
But you can actually also buy individually. So again, we go back to the research element. There's annuities, there's a lot of mutual funds. You'll be able to, for whatever budget that you have, make an investment that suits you. So which is also very smart in terms of how you plan your future. You don't want to go over budget and say, I am completely investing everything I have in insurance in case I die in 10 years. That's also not very smart. You keep spending a lot, but it's not very valuable. So you need to consult and research and have a balance. But there's plenty of companies that are offering retirement or guaranteed income plans that will put
after retirement.
After retirement, you could still get a salary that could even be higher than the one that you're getting now, depending on the plan that you choose.
But Mafipe, I'm still struggling because, one thing about Zambia and many things that I see. So I see many logic things where you tell people, so if you come from here, you can go here, so you'll be happy. And they're going elsewhere. They are going, and they can do this. So I get a headache like, didn't you hear that if you went here? And they keep doing the wrong things. So here's the thing. We are all going to retire. It's true.
Fact.
And even death, we are going to die.
Absolutely.
But why are we not taking advantage of these products that can add on your NAPSA? Because NAPSA would be, you are getting 5,000 per month. It means it can't go higher. It will actually just go lower. But you can add to this. Why are the people not going that direction? What is their problem?
Okay, let's look at it from a different perspective. We discussed this partially in the last show.
Yeah.
The term retirement is often misunderstood. People believe it to be a time when you're no longer productive and you can't work. No. It was planned as a period when you've saved enough to be able to stop working, and your passive income will take care of you. Reaching that retirement point is not about your age. It's about your income, expenditure, and passive cash flows. So, many people are not building towards that day when they will stop earning money.
Yeah.
And they confront that reality at the very last minute. So the solution to this is a build-up over a long period of time. Insurance plays a key part in that. Savings, long-term savings.
All right, so we are running out of time, lady and gentlemen, but I wanted just to find out if you've got any special messages to the listeners, to the viewers out there about this week and what they should do at individual and family level. Even on the companies, there are corporates that can afford insurance for their people, but they're just not doing it. They want them to die of hunger when they retire. What is this now?
I mean, you have said it, Professor. When it comes to insurance, number one key thing that we are trying to make sure people understand, it is not an expense, it is an investment. And there is solutions in the insurance space for almost everything you could imagine. Sometimes you could, again, research, Google it. Ask if there's an insurance cover that covers, I haven't seen it in Zambia, but it is there in the US, cold feet insurance. In case your wedding gets called off, you don't have to lose money. You can actually insure your wedding, so your vendors are still paid, but not out of your own pocket.
In case the husband runs away.
Even the wife, we also run away. So in case that does happen, if there's an insurance like that, think of what else, everything else that you could cover before that. So the main thing for me is we stick with this week's theme and think before you follow. Don't believe everything you hear online, especially online, even with friends. Get this information from trusted sources. If you want to hear about One Life, go to www.one.co.zm. Check us at PIA. We are very much registered and compliant. And you can follow our social media pages. If there is a scam alert or anything, we do actually engage our clients to be careful if there is something that we do here. And we also do post on our socials. So you can be confident that a company that's been around for over 20 years is very legitimate. So safeguard your money, not just in savings. How do you protect your savings? How do you protect your investments? So safety nets like insurance really are a necessity rather than a luxury. And for the future, make sure it's legitimate. Think about long-term financial products and not the short-term become a millionaire. We can go to a game show maybe and try and win $1 million or something, but you need to think when it comes to wealth and building that for your family and your future. The high risk, there's not even a look at it of a risk aspect. It's just high reward. That's not really how you go about it. So that would be my takeaway. Think smart about your long-term investments.
10 minutes before you react.
10 minutes to think, please. Is it worth it?
So now, Mafipe, as you're closing, I've seen a lot of casinos and people are playing some football things and money is being lost. What is your comment as we close?
There are large numbers of people doing that, and I think the message of Financial Literacy Week is very important.
Yeah.
Think before you follow.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a good piece of advice that I received is that at the end of a year, whatever you have left over is what you are working for. That's the product of all of your effort for the entire year. You want that to be cumulative. You need to record it somewhere so that you're wealthier this year than you were last year.
Not going down.
Every one of us will retire, and the focus now, because we're running out of time, should be at that point when I'm no longer financially productive, what resources do I have at that point, and what kind of lifestyle will that give me? What you see now is irrelevant. That end point is absolutely critical. So I'd encourage people to focus on that. Think before you follow.
Excellent. Wow. So that was for today. We have to leave it here. And thank you so much for coming, Tim. And I'll call you again very, very soon. All right. So we still have got some things to show you what is going on. So we'll just display some of the clinics that are running at the Teledoctor clinics and our partnerships, and also about the things that are coming. So we have started a Think Talk podcast that I'm running. Please look for this on Twitter, also on TikTok. Now it's coming there. Please do join me with questions. I think there's going to be very exciting things. And then at Woodland Specialist Clinic, again, we've got a lab. In case you want to do any tests, just get in touch with us. All right. Also, One Life and Teledoctor are friends, and that's why we are talking here today. So if you want to consult a doctor, by the way, even my FIPE is found on the Teledoctor app, by the way, for financial advice, because we don't just want to talk about disease, but also your wealth. All right, okay. Then Sanlam is also our partner, and we can discuss that with them in the next few weeks, okay. Home doctor service, just in case you want us to come and see you from home, please do come, call us, and we'll come back to you where you are. Okay, skin clinic, this is one of our busiest clinic. If you've got skin conditions, please do come over, and your Teledoctor team will look after you. And then this is the hypertension clinic that we are running, and diabetes clinic, so don't die alone. Urology, this is for men. All of us are growing old, and I'm sure we have got prostates. We need to check all those things. It's like checking your car. For men's clinic as well, your wellness, we want your heart to function, everything. So why don't you come over and see some of our doctors over the weekend? Hypertension, I've already mentioned, that is running at Woodland Specialist Clinic. Neurology, in case someone has got a stroke, again, this is what your Teledoctor is doing. Do come and see our specialists. Orthopedics, in case you've got joint problems, leg problems, why delay? And again, these are all covered also on the Teledoctor app. You can speak to those doctors as well. Fertility, in case there's an issue with the baby coming, there we go. We are available for you. All right, so the Teledoctor app, in case you have not downloaded this, there on Android and iOS, and I look forward to actually receiving your call very soon. Just to thank Diamond TV for hosting us here, my engineers, and also my guests for today. Tomorrow we'll be discussing another topic on Radio Phoenix. Please do join me. We'll be discussing the issues of the aid freeze from the U.S., how it's impacting the health system, what is the position of the Zambia Medical Association, and what can the people do in the community. So please tune in at 09 hours at Radio Phoenix. Thank you for now. Until next time, Professor Mtale signing off.
Do you experience unexplained symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, or heart palpitations? If so, a Holter monitor test might be right for you. What is a Holter monitor? A Holter monitor is a small, portable device that records your heart's electrical activity over a 24-hour period or more. It's like a mini EKG you wear all day. Who needs a heart monitor? While it's often recommended for individuals with known heart conditions, a Holter monitor can also be used for general heart health checkups, especially for athletes or those with concerns about their heart rhythm. How does it work? The Holter monitor consists of a small recording device and adhesive electrodes placed on your chest. It continuously records your heart's electrical activity, allowing your doctor to identify any irregularities. With the ECG 247 app, you can monitor your heart rate and rhythm in real time as you perform your daily activities like showering or exercising. Your doctor can also remotely access your heart data to provide expert analysis. For more information, contact us on 0979-904046 and email us at info@teledoctorzambia.com or search for our website at teledoctorzambia.com.